Hello, welcome back to another video. Today is going to be all about trade review that we've all been wanting from the channel. I've received comments. Please kindly do the detailed breakdown of how you took this particular trade you are looking at, and the other one on VIX 50 index. So I'm going to take it upon myself and go into detail, step by step, on how I look at the chart, what I was looking at, how I got into this exact same spot you're seeing here, and how I managed the trade to make hit above this liquidity residing here, making me 450 bucks. And my second trade on VIX 50 that is running massively currently. Man, you won't like to miss that breakdown as well. So stick to the end and try to learn my perspective view on the chart. So welcome back to another video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thumbs up. I really love all the support I've been receiving. You guys are so good. And if you're new, what are you waiting for? Kindly subscribe, turn on the notification in order not to miss the tips and tricks that will be coming from this channel as time goes by. Without much ado, let's get right into it. All right. All right, we're going to kickstart with this particular trade you are seeing currently and the reason why I actually took this trade. All right. So I'm going to clean up all these charts and we'll start from the analysis as it is, or as I'll look at it being in a naked word chart. Now let's go down. I told you whenever you want to start analyzing any pair, go to the daily time frame. That's your higher time frame, right? And my own higher time frame, if you have been here for a while, you know I always use the 24-hourly time frame as my higher time frame or the daily time frame. So this is my higher time frame, the daily time frame, right? And if I'm on a daily time frame, what am I looking at? I'm looking for a way to plot what? My trend line. Very, very, very what? Simple. And you can see this has been plotted down. What makes this trend line valid and I told you, the moment you have the first touch point, second touch point, and the third touch point, that makes that trend line what? Valid. And luckily, we have the fourth touch point here. Now, and when this particular price action pull down to this leg here, right? If you've been following my video, you understand the reason why I told you that. You understand the reason why if this particular price on hit on this trend line is going to skyrocket above, targeting this liquidity residing above here. That has been the projection in the last video. So when the price action approached this particular trend line, we're looking, what is the next thing? Then we're expecting a change of character exactly above here, right? And this change of character is basically on the lower time frame. We'll get into details when we work our way down to that lower time frame. When we had this change of character, the whole idea was this would be a push, a pullback, and what? A continuation. This is all what I was looking at. When this particular leg was shooting up, I became a bit skeptical. Is it that this particular price is not going to pull back? Come on, let me change this one to blue. All right. And I said, okay, is this particular leg not going to pull back? Is it going to sweep this liquidity before coming back? I don't know, right? So we patiently were waiting. I knew some of the community members took trade exactly along this particular zone here, but I was patiently waiting for what? The whole thing to manifest, right? So what was I waiting for? Simple, a push, a pullback, and what? A continuation. That was the simple thing I was actually waiting for. So when I saw this particular movement coming down, right? Then I went down to what? The 8-hourly time frame. And I told you, once you want to be very profitable with this particular strategy, make sure 2 higher time frame are in agreement. Then you can now scale down to your entry time frame and look for an opposing trend line. Wait for the break of that trend line along with change of character, then execute that trade, trusting the process. Trust me, if you understand the strategy, you're going to be 7 to 8 times correct out of 10. And if you can go back, go check my previous videos. More often than not, most of my videos are a projection on the next movement. You will definitely see that what I'm telling you is actually true. So I was waiting for this particular pullback, I don't know whether it's going to stop here, stop here, stop here. But one thing I was sure of, this imbalance might possibly be filled. That was what I was actually aiming at. So I was waiting patiently whether this particular imbalance will be filled. And if you go to that the screenshot I posted, you will see this particular zone actually being mapped out. So when I mapped this zone out, I was patiently waiting. Is this thing going to pull back or to this zone or not? That I don't know, right? This was just simply my area of interest, and I want it to be a bit closer to my trend line before looking for an entry. So I went down to the 8-hourly time frame, right? Let's go there to the 8-hourly time frame. Come on, load. What was I looking at? I saw this particular aggressive movement coming forward. Now I saw this change of character, this internal change of character, right? I was expecting this particular price action to pull back to this thing, to pull back to this zone, then drop to this particular level here. Now see what I saw along the line. This market or this price pull back, and instead of it to drop, create another what higher high here. The moment I see this, I notice that okay, this second pace, right? This next movement is about to kickstart. On the daily time frame, this will be a push, a pullback, and I was expecting what? The next push phase. So I knew that something is already cooking. The moment I saw this movement, what should I do? I said 2 time frame trend line must be in agreement. And I drop my trend line right away from this particular zone here. And you can see, pretty simple. First touch point, second touch point, and the what? Third touch point. So I was waiting for this particular level here. When I saw this higher high, higher low. The moment I have these 2 trend line plot out and they are speaking the same language, I don't have any other thing to worry about. It's simply to scale down to the lower time frame and start looking for what the possible best area to actually execute my trade. Then I went to my entry time frame, the 15 minutes. To be precise, if you have been following, you know that is the time frame I usually execute my trade. So while I was in 15-minute time frame, I saw that this particular place was the first time the price action actually touched on this particular zone. And I was looking for, okay, where is the possible change of character exactly here? Because you must identify. If you don't understand what change of character or how to identify it, then hit me in the comment section and I'll do a detailed step-by-step breakdown on how to easily spot out this valid change of character on the chart. So while I was here, what was I looking at? I began to read into the details of the market. You can see that this market actually changed character here. And I said, okay, I was waiting. Look at, when it changed character, look at imbalance. That is the first thing that should come to your mind. And I told you on your entry time frame, once a particular price action change character on the lower time frame, your next target is to drop an opposite trend line that will be speaking against these 2 trend line on this lower time frame. And you can see, come on. And you can see we can drop a trend line of this format, right? A break of a change of character alongside with the break of what? A trend line. That is a valid confirmation for me. When I have this, then we saw this particular push up. Come on, why is this straight line? Right. Then we saw this particular push up, creating this valid break of structure. Then I saw this break of structure. That's when I knew that the next phase has actually kickstarted. Then where will I enter? That becomes question, because I've confirmed that this trade is actually, this particular price action is heading up already. Now I was not opportune to enter a trade. Some of my mentees actually took a trade exactly at this particular level by dropping this trend line, this simple trend line here, and entering on the breakout of this imbalance. You can see that there's another imbalance here. This is where the guy actually took that trade. And the trade ran up. So since I was not opportune to take this position, where will I enter this particular trade from? All what I was waiting for is I needed a simple retracement, a simple pullback. Then I will drop my opposite trend line on this 15-minute time frame. I'll patiently wait for a change of character along with the break of my trend line. Then I'll just simply enter. See, if you're trading this particular strategy, pick VIX 25 index and see how massively you start hitting profit. When I saw this, I simply dropped a trend line exactly here. Where is my value change of character? You can see that the value change of character is exactly above this particular level here. Why is it above here and not this one here? I know ICT fine boys will call this one a change of character, but to me, it's not. The reason is I don't consider a wick as a break. Rather, I consider it as a liquidation. So this is not a lower low here. There is no break of structure here, right? So this is the only valid break of structure I'm having. So I was waiting patiently for this particular point to get validated, and a pinpoint break the structure exactly above this level. And I told you, or change character exactly above this level. Let me map it. Church, as is always known, change of character. What is the next thing? And I told you, this trend line is always marked with red, right? Once we have a change of character, what's the rule? Look for what? The imbalance and simply execute your trade. And this is the only imbalance. If you look at the whole of this movement here, this is the only imbalance we are having here. You can see how this price action tap into this particular leg and what? Skyrocket. Fortunate enough, I didn't take a trade exactly at this particular level, right? So I was patiently waiting. I saw this becomes a higher high, a higher low, right? Then a higher high. So I was patiently waiting for where the next point to actually take in the continuation movement. And you can see when this market began to pull back here, I sat and I was waiting, right? Patiently. If you don't have patience in this game, you cannot make money out of this market. So when this market actually pulled back, I saw this aggressive movement here. The moment I saw this candle here, that was when I jumped on this particular trade. Exactly, sorry. I took a long here, exactly above this level, setting my what? Stop loss below this candle, and I target what the next liquidity that's residing above this high. Although from that video I posted, you realize that I actually took the trade before hitting this particular what? Liquidity residing above here. So this is how the whole trade was planned and how it was taken. Let's dive into the trade that is currently running, because I have a running trade currently and I posted it on the YouTube channel. If you're not yet subscribed, kindly hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification in order for you to always be notified when videos or tutorial of this kind come out. So without doing, let's head down straight to VIX 50 index. All right, so I told you, without wasting time, let's go straight into the daily time frame. Always start your analysis. I can't stop emphasizing on this. Always start your analysis from the daily time frame or your own preferred overall higher time frame. Then try to get another lower time frame speaking that same language with that overall time frame. Please note, whichever strategy you're trading, if it doesn't have a repetitive pattern, then you don't have a system yet. You must have a repetitive pattern that you execute day in, day out uninterruptedly. So let's head down to the 24-hourly time frame. And before then, let me get all these things clean up. All right. The daily time frame as usual. All right. So while on the daily time frame, let's get rid of this particular pair. And you can check in my last video, I explained all the reasons for why if this particular trade tap into some of this imbalance, is going to what? Shoot down. If you've not watched that video, I think is titled How to Do Top-Down Analysis in Synthetic Indices. I think that should be more or less like the thumbnail. How to do top-down analysis on synthetic indices. I think so. That should be the trade. If you've not watched, please go down to the channel and watch the reasons for why we explain that this market is definitely going to shoot down, irrespective of the fact that it break out of this trend line. And I gave you all the reasons. If you have not watched, please kindly do yourself well by going back to watch that video. So having done this, what's the next thing? I told you we want to see another higher time frame. First of all, when we have this map out, this trend line, we want to recognize the highest point and the lowest point. These are the two, right? I explained all the reasons why this particular point here, come on, let me zoom it out. I explained all the reasons why this particular point is not actually a lower high. Rather, it's just a single word, line movement. If you've not watched, go back and watch that video. You'll get the whole detail about this particular analysis here. So we're heading straight. We have a breakout structure and we have what? A lower low here. We're expecting a higher low, right? Simple. Push, pull back, then what? Continuation. We're expecting a higher low, then before creating this lower low. So having known that, what's the next thing? We want to have another higher time frame speaking the same language with this particular trend line here. This trend line is telling us to sell, sell, sell. If you go to another higher time frame, but this time around a little bit lower than this time frame, and we cannot see sell, then we have to pause. So heading down to 8-hourly time frame, what can we see? Come on, right? What can we see? You can see that we have imbalance residing above this particular zone here, and I gave all the reason why this trade is definitely traveling down to this particular zone before what? Shooting down to this particular level. So having known that, can we see any trend line pointing towards the downside? No. What can you see? Opposite trend line on another higher time frame. This shows you that this market is having a question mark. You have to wait for this trend line to be broken before taking that particular trade. But having known that this market is actually gravitating to some of this high, I played along, then waiting for a simple change of character. Then I drop down, taking that trade. And the first TP I will explain. right? So when I saw that, when I saw this particular sign here, I know every opposing trend line should be mapped with what? Red, right? When I saw this particular movement here, when I saw that the market has started tapping into this level of imbalance that's residing on this higher time frame, exactly above this level here, I simply scaled down to my entry time frame, 15 minutes. And I'll explain why I went to take this trade even before breaking this opposing trend line. Come on. So while on the 50-minute, I was looking what is actually happening, right? You can, if you observe carefully, look at this market here. Right from this leg upward, it has been creating series of higher highs and higher lows without violating any, right? You can see higher highs, higher low, higher highs, higher low, higher highs. Come on, higher highs, right? This one, it just range here a bit and what? Continue the upward movement, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and higher high. The moment this market tap into this zone, I just simply drop my what? Where I was expecting a change of character, if possible. Right? My church. Come on. I dropped this change of character exactly level. And the market dropped down and actually break or change character as I was expecting. That's when I knew that, okay, this market is going to shoot down at least a little bit. Right? So I simply look for what? After a change of character, what do you look for? An imbalance. Then simply execute your what? Trade. I saw the only imbalance left on fuel here, exactly above this level here. So when this market traveled down back to this level here, then I was a bit skeptical because this particular lower time frame, this higher time frame trend line has not been broken. I was a bit skeptical and I had to be patient to have full confirmation before taking this trade. When I saw this candle printed out, right, after tapping this zone, then I went and take my position exactly at this particular level with my stop loss above what? This high here, right? And what was my aim? I entered two position. If you watch the short clip I posted about 3 minutes, you understand. When I entered two position, what was my reason? When I entered these two position, the first one was simply to take profit before this trend line, because the moment I saw this change of character, I knew that this market is going to gravitate towards this trend line before I begin to see any form of reaction. So the first TP was set above this level here, below this level, exactly, I think, yes, 126, below this level here. Right? And the second TP was set down to the all-time lower low on the higher time frame. And this is simply to maximize the trade. What I was doing is, if this trend line simply gets violated, I know that the market, the price action is going to take out the overall lower low, which reside exactly this level here. So I took the first TP was hit. I was definitely share the screenshot. The first TP was hit, and the second trade is still running even as I'm still shooting this video. Right? And you can see, this is simply how I walk myself down. Right? If you could not if you're a bit skeptical by not taking trade exactly above this level, you could wait for what? A simple break of this trend line. Simple on the higher time frame. Then you play along, dropping an opposite trend line on the 50-minute. Then you trade along as it ought to be. So this was the whole process I took, and this was the trade review of the two trades I've took for the past, I think, 1 week, and since then I've not taken any position, and my position is still currently running, and I'm expecting. I know one of my mentee called me, I think this morning, and said, "Boss, seems you are becoming greedy. Please take out the profit and let the market breathe." I just laugh and on. The truth is, if you know where the price is actually going, why taking the profit too early? Why? That's the question. If you know where the price action is going, why allowing your emotion to play? That's why you need a system whereby you can follow just as what you are saying. A repetitive system that it has everything set down, laid down rule that you don't break and you know how to follow it. Thank you for staying to this very moment. If you're not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe, turn on the notification, and please, if you are still struggling in the market, don't give up. Until next time, keep trusting the process. Peace out.